My mother-in-law stared intently at the allergy test results. The moment she confirmed our child's blood type, she started yelling, "You're the worst! This isn't our son's child! We're all blood type O!" She crumpled the test results and threw them on the floor in a frenzy. "I've thought something was off since you announced your pregnancy. You cheated! Divorce our son!" Quietly, I picked up the crumpled test results from the floor. Then I confirmed something instantly. "Yes, mother-in-law, he's not your son's child." My name is Kay Forrester, 34 years old. I live with my husband Jake in a rented apartment in New York, a workplace romance. Despite his busy work, Jake is a kind husband who actively helps with household chores. Even today when I came home, he had washed the frying pan and dishes used for breakfast. "Welcome back. Try not to push yourself too hard with the overtime. You won't be able to handle it, Kay." "I'm home, yeah, I know, but I can't just ignore them. I can't help it." While I was changing into my loungewear in the bedroom, a delicious smell wafted from the kitchen. Tonight's dinner appears to be my favorite, Jake's special fried chicken. I grabbed a can of beer from the fridge, glanced at the calendar on the wall, and noticed a big circle around the 10th. Oh, I'd completely forgotten, but next Friday is our 7th wedding anniversary. Let's go out for dinner next Friday. I feel like eating French for a change. "I thought you might say that. I've already made a reservation at a French restaurant in Manhattan." "Really? Thank you, I'm so excited." As I stuffed my mouth full of fried chicken, I deeply reflected on the 7 years that have passed since we got married. We don't have children. I thought getting pregnant would come naturally once married. But I didn't get pregnant even after 1 year or 2 years. My sister, who married 4 years after me, is now a mother of 2, and my friends were getting pregnant one after another. In the first few years, I was not desperate, and I could truly rejoice in the pregnancy announcements of those close to me. But now, even the pregnancy announcements of celebrities who have nothing to do with me are overreacting. I'm disgusted with myself, who can't honestly rejoice at the happy reports of others. Why won't a baby come to us? My mobile search history was filled with keywords about pregnancy. Whenever I had free time, I couldn't help but thinking about having a baby. Adding fuel to the fire was my mother-in-law. It seems that the word taboo does not exist in her dictionary. She suddenly barged into our apartment the other day, making sarcastic remarks about our childlessness and urging us to divorce. "Kay, when are you planning to get pregnant? I'm tired of waiting." "Well, this is something we can't control. I'm trying my best, you know." "Don't you feel sorry for Jake because he can't become a father?" As a matter of fact, I too want to see Jake becoming a father soon. "If you really feel that way, why don't you divorce him? I believe there's someone more suitable for Jake. If he marries a healthy woman who can bear children, he'd become a father in no time." Facing such harsh words with a straight face, I managed to get by all this time thanks to Jake and my father-in-law. They've always stood up for me. If anything, they seem to be exasperated with the mother-in-law who was obsessed with wanting grandchildren. I made sure to keep a safe distance from her by not initiating contact, avoiding places she frequents, but doing the minimum on Mother's Day and her birthday. One night as usual, Jake and I were watching TV after dinner. I had been feeling a little feverish since morning and decided to check my temperature as I wasn't feeling quite right. It was slightly elevated at 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit. I tend to feel under the weather before my period. Upon checking my period tracking app, I realized that my period was late this month. Hurriedly, I used the pregnancy test that I had stored in the bathroom cabinet, and, to my surprise, it showed the 2 distinct lines indicating a positive result. "Jake, look at this!"
What? Does this mean you're pregnant?
Yes, I'm pregnant! We're finally going to have a baby! Overwhelmed with joy, I burst into tears on the spot. I wondered how much time and money we had spent to reach this moment. After verifying the pregnancy test result multiple times, Jake hugged me tightly. Thank you for putting up with not drinking alcohol, smoking, or going to the sauna. Starting today, you're free to drink and hit the sauna.
Nah, compared to the effort you've put in, Kay, my sacrifices are nothing. I'll hold off on the drinks until after you've safely given birth. I'm already looking forward to the celebratory drink.
A few days later, we visited the gynecologist, where the pregnancy was confirmed. There's a baby in my belly. For the first time in my life, I experienced a strange yet warm feeling. I didn't care about the baby's gender. I just wished for it to be born healthy. I can still vividly recall the moment when I first felt my child's movement in my womb. Jake would touch my belly and talk to our baby every day.
Hey, it's Daddy. Can't wait to meet you.
Hey, no, it's too early for you to be born.
Right. My bad. You need to stay in the belly a little longer.
Entering my 8th month of pregnancy, I started my maternity leave and enjoyed a leisurely maternity life. I was at home watching a movie with Jake when I felt my pants getting soaked rapidly with a popping sound. I instantly knew that my water broke. When I called the general hospital where I was to give birth, I was told to come right away, so we headed there by taxi. Finally, I was about to meet my child. Excitement was more predominant than nervousness. Upon arrival at the hospital, my labor pains began. But that was just the start of a long battle. Hours went by without the baby descending, and I was at my physical and mental limit. I found myself screaming throughout the hospital. I can't do this anymore! It hurts! It hurts! 15 minutes later, I was able to meet my baby.
You did well, Kay.
Jake said, patting my head as he cried. He's adorable! Our baby! The newborn baby was so tiny and fragile that I felt I could break it if I touched it. It was the most precious sight. Just a moment ago, this little one was inside my belly. A tear rolled down my cheek. While holding my tiny, soft child's finger, I was certain I could do anything for this child. Though born prematurely due to my water breaking early and a low birth weight, the child grew healthily after that. Time flew, and a few months later, it was time for the preschool debut. Hey, how about going to the shopping center next Saturday? We need to start buying stuff for preschool.
What do we need?
You know, a backpack, water bottle, lunchbox, that sort of stuff.
Don't they serve lunch at the preschool?
I think it depends on the place, right? Shouldn't we get an allergy test done before starting preschool?
Huh? But we'll be packing lunch, right?
Yes, but they provide snacks at preschool. Both of us have food allergies, don't we? We need to check if that has been passed on.
You're right, it's a concern. Yeah, let's take our child for an allergy test soon.
And the following week, we took our child to the hospital for an allergy test. There was a section of the questionnaire asking if we wanted to check the blood type as well. The blood type check was free. We decided to go for it since it was included. The test results would be sent to us by email later. The world has indeed become very convenient. A few days later, when I returned from shopping, there was an envelope in our mailbox. The allergy test results had arrived. After washing my hands, I immediately opened the envelope to check the results. As expected, our child seems to have a few food allergies. I felt a bit guilty about this, but it's okay. Jake and I both have a lot of knowledge about food allergies. Now there are many alternative foods and allergy-friendly foods available, and some children's allergic reactions lessen as they grow. I put the test results on the refrigerator door with a magnet so that Jake can check the results later. Alright, I think I'll start preparing dinner. As I put away the groceries I bought, the doorbell rang. Checking the footage of the front porch, I found my in-laws unexpectedly standing there. Frustrated by their unannounced visit, I opened the front door. Hello, father-in-law, mother-in-law, it's been a while.
Kay, we're sorry for dropping by unannounced. I told Lisa that we should have informed you in advance.
We don't need to inform anyone when visiting our own son's house. Now please let us see our grandchild. My mother-in-law barged in, spreading out the children's clothes and toys that she was holding in her arms all over the living room. All high-end stuff. My mother-in-law is a brand fanatic, the complete opposite of me, who has no interest in luxury brands. I started boiling water to make tea for my in-laws. Wait a minute, Kay. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just about to serve tea. Please wait a moment. I don't want to drink such cheap tea. Don't you have any other beverages? My mother-in-law said and confidently walked over to the fridge. And then she froze in front of it. She was intently staring at the allergy test results paper stuck on it. What's this? Oh, we thought of having an allergy test done before our child starts preschool. That's not what I meant. I'm talking about this blood type. Huh? I shifted my gaze to the blood type next to our child's name. There it said type A. My mother-in-law, her face turning beet red, started yelling at me. Kay, you are the worst! Calm down, please, mother-in-law. How can I stay calm? This is not our son's child. All of us are type O. With a burst of anger, my mother-in-law crumpled up the test results paper and threw it on the floor. I knew something was off when you announced your pregnancy. Kay, you cheated. I want you to divorce Jake. Of course we'll be seeking compensation. I calmly picked up the crumpled test result paper from the floor. And then I was certain of something. Actually, mother-in-law, it's the other way around. Jake is not your son. Jake has type A blood. Upon hearing this, my mother-in-law became enraged, claiming it was impossible because both she and my father-in-law have type O blood, accusing me of lying. She insisted that their son should also have type O blood, as per what she heard at the time of his birth. My mother-in-law was unaware that a newborn's blood type is not reliable and can change as they grow. Here's the proof, I said, seizing the moment to show her a piece of paper. It was the results of a blood test that my husband Jake had taken as part of our infertility treatment. His blood type unmistakably was A. Seeing this, my mother-in-law turned pale and silently sat down on a chair. She began to sweat coldly, obviously rattled. My usually quiet father-in-law spoke up.
What does this mean, Lisa?
There's a reason behind this.
A reason? Are you going to make excuses? Stop messing around.
This was the first time I had seen my father-in-law explode with such anger. I quickly told my child to go in the other room. Even if they couldn't understand yet, I didn't want them hearing this messy conversation. After a few minutes of silence, my mother-in-law, seemingly resigned, started to tell the truth through her tears. It dates back 30 years. Early in their marriage, my father-in-law often went on long business trips abroad. As he worked for a trading company, he had no choice but to accept these long assignments, no matter the circumstances. My mother-in-law, having moved away from her hometown after their marriage and finding herself with no friends nearby, ended up having an affair out of loneliness. And, shockingly, the other man was a junior colleague my father-in-law was fond of. It turns out Jake is the child born from the affair between my mother-in-law and her lover. How would Jake react when he learns the truth? I was only worried about him. However, Jake seemed surprisingly unfazed by the news. He never verbalized it, but he seemed to have known all along, from the fact that his face didn't look like his parents'. Since the day the shocking truth was revealed, I have not met with my mother-in-law at all. I once received an email from her, but I deleted it without even checking the content. Later, my father-in-law was outraged at being deceived for over 30 years and presented divorce papers to my mother-in-law. It was only natural. My mother-in-law, who had been unfaithful, had no right to refuse, and the divorce was successfully finalized. My mother-in-law, who had been living a luxurious life as a stay-at-home wife without working at all, relying on my father-in-law, seems to be struggling with her livelihood. I wonder if she's looking for a job now. I wonder if there's a place where my mother-in-law can work. Well, it's none of my business. When I think about what my mother-in-law did to my father-in-law and the various abusive words she threw at me, there's no room for sympathy. On the other hand, the relationship between my father-in-law and my husband Jake is fortunately still good. It was all my mother-in-law's fault, and Jake did nothing wrong.
Even if there's no blood connection, after 30 years of raising him, he's truly my son,
my father-in-law told Jake. Despite the divorce from my father-in-law continues to be kind to not only Jake, but also me and our child. He takes us out to eat once a month and even bought souvenirs for us from a recent trip. Before, every time I woke up in bed in the morning, I used to wonder what kind of unpleasant things would happen that day. But now, every time I wake up in the morning, I look forward to what wonderful things will happen. My world is beginning to be colored. Another new day begins today. I wake up my husband and child, prepare breakfast and pack lunches, and change their clothes. There are a lot of things to do. Surrounded by my beloved family, I am very happy.